I always thought life would get simpler after high school. Turns out, adulthood isn't just about freedom. It's about navigating the mess left behind by other people's decisions. My name is Ethan Walker, and everything changed the summer I turned 19. After my mom passed away, Dad remarried within a year. It stung more than I wanted to admit, but I tried to be mature about it. His new wife, Madison, was only in her early 30s, barely 12 years older than me. She was beautiful, sure, but she was also smart, kind, and patient in a way my dad hadn't been in years. I kept my distance at first. I didn't want to get close to her. I didn't want to replace my mom or pretend things were fine. Madison never pushed. She just waited. And somewhere between quiet dinners and awkward family movie nights, we started talking. Then laughing. Then understanding each other in ways I never expected. It was a rainy Thursday afternoon when it began. Dad had gone out of town for a business trip. Just me and Madison in the house. I came into the kitchen, still sweaty from my run, grabbing water. She was at the counter in an oversized sweatshirt and leggings, chopping vegetables. "Want me to help?" I asked. She smiled. "Wow. Who are you, and what have you done with Ethan?" We both laughed. I moved next to her, and without thinking, I reached to grab a knife from her hand, to tease her. Our fingers touched. It wasn't dramatic, but she froze. So did I. Something shifted in the air. I looked at her, and for a second, she looked back, not like a stepmom, not like an adult, just someone trying to hide confusion behind a tight smile. "I didn't mean to," I began, pulling back. She placed the knife down and turned to face me. "You didn't do anything wrong." Her voice was soft, uncertain. That night, I couldn't sleep. My brain kept rewinding that moment. It wasn't about attraction or desire. It was about something else. Connection. Intimacy. Emotional need. It scared me. The next morning, I stayed in my room until noon. When I finally came out, she was on the back porch, wrapped in a blanket, sipping coffee. I joined her silently. "Couldn't sleep either?" she asked, without looking at me. I nodded. "It was weird yesterday." She let out a breath. "Yeah." We sat in silence. The wind rustled the trees. It was her who broke the silence again. "Ethan, do you think we crossed a line?" "I don't know," I replied honestly. "But I didn't mean to." "I know," she said. "Me neither." For the rest of the week, things stayed neutral. Polite. Distant. It was almost a relief when Dad came home. I could hide behind routine. But the silence between Madison and me was louder than any argument. A month later, Dad left again. This time for a conference in Atlanta. He'd be gone for 5 days. On the second night, Madison asked if I wanted to join her for a movie. "Old traditions," she said with a hopeful smile. I hesitated, then nodded. We sat on the couch, a comfortable gap between us, watching Good Will Hunting. But as the story unfolded, emotions stirred. Madison sniffed once, then again. I glanced over. She was crying silently. "You okay?" I asked gently. She wiped her face. "Sorry, this part always gets me." Without thinking, I reached out and placed a hand on her shoulder. This time, she didn't move. Instead, she leaned gently toward me. Her head rested on my shoulder. We didn't speak. The movie ended, and we just sat there. Quiet. Close. "I miss being understood," she whispered. I didn't know what to say. I didn't want to lie, but I couldn't promise her things I didn't understand myself. Instead, I said, "I'm here." The next morning, things weren't awkward. In fact, it was the most normal we'd felt in weeks. She made pancakes. I set the table. We talked about music, about my college plans, about the new neighbors who had a noisy dog. But that unspoken thread, that closeness stayed. One night, near the end of Dad's trip, I was in the garage working on my bike. Madison came in looking frustrated. "Water heater's out again," she said. "Mind helping me check it?" We went to the basement. I checked the valves while she held the flashlight. We were close. Closer than usual. When I looked up, she was already looking at me. "I feel like I don't know who I am anymore," she said quietly. "You're someone who's trying. Who cares?" That counts, I told her. She reached out and touched my hand. I didn't move, but I didn't encourage it either. I'm sorry, she whispered, pulling back. I stopped her. It's okay. She looked up, tears welling in her eyes.
No.
It's not. You're just a kid. You shouldn't be the one comforting me. I'm not a kid anymore, I said. And for a long moment, she didn't respond. Then, she turned and walked away. The next day, she didn't come out of her room. I left food by the door. That night, she slipped a note under mine. I'm sorry for everything. You deserve better. I lost myself in a moment. Please forgive me. I kept the note. Dad came home the next day. Everything returned to normal. But Madison and I were never the same. We didn't speak much for a while. I went off to college a few months later. The day I left, she hugged me for the first time since everything happened. I'm proud of the man you're becoming, she said. I learned from you, I whispered back. 1 year later, I came home for Thanksgiving. Madison looked different. Lighter, happier. She and Dad seemed closer. They'd started therapy. They were working things out. One night, she asked if we could talk. I never wanted to hurt you, she said. But I needed that wake-up call. I was lonely,
Lost.
and I leaned on you when I shouldn't have. I wasn't innocent either, I replied. She smiled sadly. Still, thank you. For showing me grace. For not taking advantage. For helping me heal, even when it hurt. I nodded. We were both hurting. We just reached for the closest warmth. And that was the truth. Sometimes boundaries blur, not because people are bad, but because they're broken. Because grief does strange things. Because loneliness is louder than logic. But healing isn't about ignoring what happened. It's about learning and choosing different, better paths. And that's what we both did.